With the second pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Washington Commanders select Jayden Daniels, quarterback, LSU.
So it is the reigning Heisman Trophy winner, second out of the green room after his predecessor winning that award. Jayden Daniels is the choice of the Washington Commanders, DJ.
This has just gone from an unwatchable offensive product to must-see TV. When you put this playmaker at the helm of this offense, going to be led now by Cliff Kingsbury. He did this the hard way, guys. This was not someone who just jumped on the scene in college football and took college football by storm. He earned his way. He got better. He changed schools. You talk to the folks at LSU, first one in, 5 o'clock in the morning. He's bringing wide receivers in there, using the virtual reality to be able to study coverages, study route combinations. All of that hard work culminates in a Heisman Trophy, and now he's the second pick of the draft.
What I love about Jayden Daniels is that path that you just spoke about. I covered him when he was at Arizona State, and there was so much optimism and hope for Herm Edwards, you remember, and that staff. And then all of a sudden, COVID kind of derailed that program. That the Pac-12 did not deal with COVID very well. They had a half season. Their team fell way short of expectations, and he bore the brunt of a lot of that criticism. So the change of scenery was perfect for him. And CD, I think it was that change of scenery. Obviously, he was able to mature as both a person and a player, but it's paid off in spades.
Not just his change of scenery, the coaching. He gets Brian Kelly, one of the toughest quarterback coaches in the country, to help elevate him there. But you talked about the path. 185 pounds when you met him as a freshman. 207 now. Last year, Bryce Young, that was a big issue. But Bryce Young was water weight at 204. Jayden Daniels is a legit 207, 210, and has a chance to add more weight and be smarter about how he runs the football.
Highest drafted quarterback by this franchise since they took another Heisman Trophy winner. Second overall in the draft in 2012, Robert Griffin III, as you can see.
Jayden, just last week, the Commanders invited 4 quarterback prospects to Washington. When you left that meeting, how confident were you that you'd be their pick?
I was pretty confident. I tried to play some games, but I was pretty confident for sure.
On the red carpet just a little while ago, you described your journey to me as a roller coaster. From Arizona State to a Heisman-winning campaign at LSU, what do you want your future to look like? Because this ride's not over when you get to Washington.
Man, not at all, man. I'm here to get to work. Washington will get everything out of me. As a competitor, a hard worker. I can't wait to meet my new teammates, man. Try to help win some football games.
Good luck doing it. Thanks, Jayden.
And Jayden Daniels is that man.
Yeah, Jayden Daniels is that man. And the interesting thing about Jayden Daniels, Lance alluded to it, it is rare that you find a guy who has A+ arm talent and A+ running skills. But Jayden Daniels is a bit of a unicorn at the position. 12,000 plus pass yards, 3,000 plus rush yards. And what I love about him is the steady progression that he made from his time at Arizona State through his time at LSU. Touch, accuracy, timing, he displays that, consistently drops the ball down the bucket on those deep throws. Has the vision where he can throw with anticipation and timing. We saw it time and time again during his tenure at LSU. Yes, he has some talented playmakers around him, but he might have been the biggest playmaker on that offense. Being able to break the pocket, he can create impromptu runs, design quarterback runs. He has all that, but also the ability to really just stay in the pocket and make those plays. This is the new school quarterback, the prototypical quarterback that we're seeing, where it's a dynamic athlete that also is a refined pocket passer. Excited to see what Jayden Daniels does in Washington.
I think the thing that really stands out to me is you look at the footwork, and it's important to him. I mean, he's really worked on it, and you'll notice the footwork is really good. He finds his platforms when he throws. He goes through progressions. A lot of people have banged on him about getting out of the pocket too quickly. I think if he just sees an opening, he wants to go get 25 yards, and often he does.
And he can.
And
that's
he
the
can.
thing. Yeah.
And I don't think if you really watch him, he can get through progressions. He can go 3-4 deep. He can get all the way through his progressions. He can sit there and get his feet the way that he needs to. I think, throwing outside the numbers to me can be a little bit of a problem, and sometimes pushing a deep ball, it'll come up a little light on the gas at times. But I love his command of the offense, and I love the way he gets himself protected at the line of scrimmage, which is a very underrated skill for quarterbacks coming out of college. He commands the field like an NFL quarterback, and
like
that's what I really.
Yeah,
he does. I didn't, but that's why you're in the lead seat. You work up on these puns.
You missed it. He said pilot defense.
Come on.
I've been
missing all the
on these.
With the 36th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Washington Commanders select Jer'Zhan Newton, defensive tackle, Illinois.
All right, so
Let's
Johnny,
go Commanders.
Johnny Newton goes
Thank
to
you
D.C.
all. Detroit, we love you.
And time for the Fam Cam, presented by Rocket Mortgage, showing Johnny Newton's celebration in Orlando, Florida.
Well, this is tremendous value. This is someone I thought was going to for sure go in the first round, my 25th overall player, and a player who took over games. You can watch entire games and you'll wonder, they have no chance against him. If they're one-on-one, you don't stand a chance. They had to help him at the collegiate level to be able to control him. His hands are outstanding. The torque and power is there. And there's guys who can win and there's guys who can finish. He does both. You look at his ability to get off the ball. I use that word springy because he just explodes in his get off. The ability to flatten, close, and finish. Excellent. Once he gets to the top of his rush as an interior rusher, it's over early in the down. If you don't get your hands on him, it's over quickly, and that is the most disruptive way for an offense when you have to deal with a guy like this who gets that interior pressure. Just a very talented, very gifted player. I did not envision being there. I did not envision him being the second defensive tackle to go tonight, CD, and he joins a defensive tackle room in Washington that's pretty darn loaded.
We talk about Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne, and remember, Washington had that great defensive front, but now Montez Sweat is gone, Chase Young is gone, so now you got to go chase Philadelphia and Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott in Dallas. Saquon Barkley's going to run the football in Philadelphia. Those extra defensive tackles in rotation, they don't hurt, Joel.
Every offensive coordinator in the Big Ten just like would watch him and say, how do we deal with Newton? And also doesn't take special teams off. 4 blocked kicks last year.
It's not an offensive tackle, but it is a defensive tackle here, Bucky. And look, we thought first round potential here with Johnny Newton, ends up being a pretty dang good value to Washington.
Oh, absolutely great value. And this is the convergence of Adam Peters and Dan Quinn making this pick.
Yes.
You have Adam Peters, who believes in building the front line, and Dan Quinn, who loves working with those big guys up front. Johnny Newton has a lot of tools to work with. Quick, explosive, great hand skills, technique, guy plays hard, and that is a talent for me. This is an A1 player. I am surprised that he's available in the second round. The Commanders got to go on.
Might have a little interior disruption like Dan Quinn saw with Michael Bennett up there in Seattle.
Yeah, and you see
style, but
you see the sack numbers. I mean, it's really impressive. He is a very good rusher. I think against the run, he needs to work on, from a technical standpoint, he's going to have to work on some things. But he's got help over there in Washington. They know how to play interior line football. So what you've done now is you've added a guy with real rush. I mean, real rush from the interior, which is not something you see a lot around the NFL now. So many sub packages come into play, but he's somebody who can play all 3 downs and go get the quarterback. So good pick, good football player, makes sense.
With the 50th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Washington Commanders select Mike Sainristil, defensive back, Michigan.
My goodness gracious. We're turning Cadillac Square into the big house. Off goes Chris Jenkins, and then goes Mike Sainristil.
Yeah, Mikey Sainristil. Joel, as someone who called, I think, every single one of his games, I'm going to give you the floor here on
No. I want you to do it. I've been waiting years for moments like this.
He is unbelievable in terms of his awareness, ball skills. He is Johnny on the spot, always around the football. You see the physicality. He plays much bigger than his size. You see it when he's coming up against the pass as well as against the run. Has that background as a wide receiver. That's where those incredible ball skills come from. That's how you end up getting 6 interceptions. But as good as he is on the field, as you see here, Joel, everything I've been told about him from a leadership standpoint, a change the culture standpoint, and an intelligence standpoint is literally off the charts.
He was the best defender on the best defense in college football, and he did so with only 2 years on that side of the ball, and I would echo all of those things. He's an incredible individual. He is a born leader, and then those ball instincts and just natural instincts on the field. This guy is going to turn into one of those players that every quarterback is going to have nightmares about because of his instincts and his ability to make plays on the football.
Right, Mikey Sainristil, arguably the best nickel corner in this draft, was a phenomenal player after converting from wide receiver to lead the national champions defense there, Buck.
Yeah, he's my best little nickel. So I had Jayden as my big nickel.
I like it.
Mikey Sainristil is my best little nickel.
He'll play little, though.
Meaning he's my cornerback. Look, former wide receiver that made the conversion to defensive back. Tremendous instincts and awareness for a guy that hasn't played a position long. And when you watch him play nickel corner, man, he checks off the boxes in so many areas. One-on-one coverage, blitzing off the edge, being able to play zone if need be, and then the leadership skills that you hear when you talk to people coming around the Michigan program. This is an A1 player from character and production and performance. He is a really good fit for the Commanders.
Michigan lost a tremendous strength coach who went to the Chargers. It was Chargers gain and Ben Herbert. And I remember Herbert, I talked to him about Mike Sainristil, and I said, tell me a little bit about this guy. I'd ask him about some of the prospects. He'd say, first of all, he's a marry your daughter type, tremendous personal character, off the charts leadership, off the charts football character. And I said, well, what's the athlete like? He goes, oh, you're going to see at the combine. Let me tell you, 4.47 40 with a 1.51 split.
Take it.
40-inch vertical leap, almost 11-foot broad jump with a sub-7 three-cone drill and a 401 short shuttle. If those numbers don't mean anything to you, what you need to know is they're really, really
exceptional.
Good. And he is somebody who can play from the slot and attack the run game. In today's football, if you're going to play a nickel, you got to be able to defend the run.
With the 53rd pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Washington Commanders select Ben Sinnott. Holler. Give it up, give it up. Tight end, Kansas State.
So they get Ben Sinnott. Please tell me there's a guy named House so they can have the House and Senate in D.C.
Washington. Well, I'll tell you what, Adam Peters comes from San Francisco, where Kyle Juszczyk can do a lot of different things and be a versatile weapon. A lot of people felt like this was the Kyle Juszczyk in this draft. He is nasty as a blocker. It's hard to find guys that want to block at the tight end position in college. He gets after people. Here's a 2-for-1 special. And then down the field, he's got excellent athleticism to be able to adjust and catch the ball. Also, after the catch, the physicality. So a little bit of Juszczyk, a little bit of Kittle, and apparently a little bit of a give me a hockey player. I'm from San Diego.
We had one last year's draft. The defensive end from Green Bay out of Iowa. Remember him? Remember the young man?
Oh my goodness! Somebody check on that kid.
That would get you in the NFL. That would get you. Speaking of where he's playing, you get a FedEx.
Get a letter.
Who's the first round kid out of Green Bay? Green Bay took last year out of Iowa. The defensive end.
The edge rusher.
The edge rusher.
You can't ask me about guys from last year.
Right.
I got names from this year.
Scrambled his brain. He just scrambled his brain.
Yet another celebration in Virginia for the Washington Commanders.
It harkens back to the days of Frank Wycheck. He is kind of an H-back is what Ben Sinnott was. He was very hard for me to place in my mock draft because he's just different. You'll call him a tight end if you want, but he's not really a classic tight end. He can do some blocking and get after you. He's better at the point of attack as a blocker than Brock Bowers is if you want some type of context. But and he is he's physical enough to get after you in space.
Pancake.
Oh yeah, he's physical enough to get after you in space. I think he's going to be okay as an offensive weapon, but he's somebody that when you add all the pieces up, he's somebody who, if you've got a 3rd and 4 and you need to get the 4 yards, hey, let's dial something up for Ben Sinnott.
They'll put him in a box on that hit. That looked a little high,
Man,
but
everybody wants a goon. We need a goon. Nothing wrong with having a goon. Playoff hockey here.
yeah.
There's goon activity in this highlight reel that we're
Yes, that's
no doubt.
why
And I
we
mean
brought
that,
it.
by the way,
In
that's a compliment.
The biggest, most respect. The young man was all right there that fell down, but hey, look, Sinnott's not messing around.
I like the. I mean, we just keep seeing that.
Bang!
I don't know who the other guy is, but he doesn't like that we keep showing that over and over. But Ben Sinnott's one of those guys that he allows you to do a lot of different things in the running game too. He can kind of activate the running game because you're moving them all over the formation.
With the 67th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Washington Commanders select Brandon Coleman, tackle, TCU.
Well, they got their tackle. Brandon Coleman, some view him as a guard, some view him as a tackle. Played left tackle there at TCU. Got to believe he's going to have an opportunity to play some tackle here for the Washington Commanders. Very strong hands. When he latches, he finishes you. He can latch and drive. Here he is at left tackle again. Once those hands land, he's in excellent position. inline blocking. Think about Steve Avila, the transition he made from TCU to the Rams and how good he was. Similar strength and power here with Brandon Coleman. So they were desperate to get one, and they got one here.
With the 100th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Washington Commanders select Luke McCaffrey, wide receiver, Rice.
Adam Peters came from the 49ers, Rich. They had a McCaffrey, so he said, hey, I'm going to go to the Commanders. I'll get another one. That worked out pretty well for his previous team. Luke McCaffrey, the converted quarterback, can play inside, can play outside, works well in traffic, and someone who just finds a way to get it done. He finds a way. You saw it in the one-on-ones at the Senior Bowl. You see it here on this video. Very strong hands. He's still continuing to grow and develop as a wide receiver. He's new to it, but you can see the athleticism. The fact that if his background as a quarterback helps him in terms of seeing defenses, being able to read coverages, a really, really good player. I will add, Joel, as we look at the McCaffrey family here, as we finish up night number 2, it's nice to be tied with you 3 for second most players drafted on the desk. So I'm just very excited.
Oh, wow. Oh, what a finish.
With the 139th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Washington Commanders select Jordan Magee, linebacker, Temple.
Jordan Magee. And I like Jordan Magee. I gave him a 6.0, which is a separator between a backup grade and a potential and a very good backup to maybe even eventual starter. I think the only thing that bothers me a little bit, he's about 228 pounds. It's only the size. Everything else I like. 4.55 40. He's got explosive leaps. He's got good short area quickness. Very, very aggressive. The play demeanor is exactly the way you want it. He is going to get after you, and he is going to attack you, and that's kind of something that we've seen from Temple. The Temple tough stuff is a very real thing. He's got good, strong base for his size, so he can handle contact with good balance. He is a little small, like I said, but I love the mentality. I think he's wired the way you want your linebackers to be wired. And there's no question. We talk about special teams. Now we're getting into a guy, okay, he is going to be a core special teamer for you. He's got the speed to get down the field and make tackles. He's got the mentality for it. I like this selection because he offers that initial nod to special teams.
With the 161st pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Washington Commanders select Dominique Hampton, defensive back, Washington.
Another traits prospect.
Another Husky here.
Another Husky, another traits prospect. Dominique Hampton had one of the more impressive combines from any position, I thought. But really, when you look at the 39-inch vertical leap at a safety spot is something you don't see a whole lot. And then a 4.51. He is an explosive player with a 6.83 short cone drill. So let me run you through all this. The 6.83 three-cone drill shows good change of direction, the ability as an open space tackler to make quick, shifty moves. That's where you use that. The 4.51's 40 time tells you he's got range to get all over the field. And the 39-inch vertical leap is for the explosive hips, getting into tackles and leaping and making plays like that in the air. All of these elements have certain play characteristics that they match up with. And Dominique Hampton, when you start checking a lot of boxes on the traits, even if the tape is a little up and down, what teams say is, wait, we're going to put him in a different position or we're going to get him coached up. Because if you have traits like this, if you have speed and explosiveness and short area quickness, we can work with that as a coach.
I have him rated in the 200s, so this one's a little bit of a different value than maybe some of these guys who are rated in the 100s, like we were talking about before. Not necessary. You're right, though. The variability is there. Like, it could be good. The traits could project for greatness. However, there's just some, like the fatigue factor in there. Actually, for him was sort of the opposite. So that is something that could improve at the next level, given the NFL caliber.
I need fatigue ratings.
Stuff.
With the 222nd pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Washington Commanders select Javontae Jean-Baptiste, defensive end, Notre Dame.
You know, there's nothing better than making sure that you're getting a kid when you draft him. It's got a good head on his shoulders, great pedigree. That's the case here from a Washington Commanders perspective. When you go to Bergen Catholic High School in New Jersey, only good
Oh, Bergen Catholic from Jersey.
Brian Cushing.
Yes.
Brian Cushing. Bergen Catholic. Tony the Hatchetman Valentine. Okay. So what we're looking at, well, this is Trey Taylor. Well, no, okay, I'm getting mixed up here. So we're talking about
Baptiste.
Yeah, Javontae Jean-Baptiste, 4 years at Ohio State. Didn't really do a whole lot there. Went to Notre Dame, and it's like, ooh, this is kind of interesting at Notre Dame. He needs to get stronger.